Hello everyone and welcome. Well, that's a little bit high, isn't it? Yes, it's smartened myself up a little bit. Oh dear, oh dear. There we go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hookster talk. I just got to sort that out. That's horrendous, horrendous. Yes, with me, and of course the star of the show. It's Mr. TV Bear. Yes, there he is. Every Thursday night he comes out of his closet, and there he is. There he is. Just look at him. Look at his little tooties go. Look at his little tooties go. Look at him. Wee wee wee. Everyone loves the TV Bear. Everyone loves the TV Bear. TV Bear. Yes. Ooh, you're so sexy. Mwah. Mwah. Give me a proper kiss. Ooh. Ooh. That's better. Oh my God, I've started already. Hello, Mr. Scott Barnes. He says, hi, Dave. Hope you're okay. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. And just J-Mo is in the chat as well. He's clapping me. Thank you. Is that a slow clap? In the words of Rick Rude, cut the music. Yeah, cut the music. Yeah, bloody hell. Bloody hell. I'm a little bit late tonight. Not too bad, but just a little bit late. I do apologise. Unfortunately, I had a little touch of the old stage fright tonight. Yes. My YouTube... Oops, just knocked the microphone. My YouTube persona is very much not the same as my real life persona. Yes. And I had a little bit of the... So I was a little bit unsure whether I was going to come on at all. But the show must go on, so let's get rid of all that bullshit anyway. And carry on. Yes. How are you all doing this fine Thursday evening? Yes, I am human. I am human. Plynal Plessy's in the house. He says, hello, Dave. Don't know if I will play the F1 manager game as I do a crap job being the manager. I'll tell you what, I'm with you on that one. I don't know how good I'd be. I've never actually done any of those sort of management games, you know, like the football management games or anything like that. I've never done any of those. So it may be quite interesting if I actually did the manager game, but possibly not in a sort of good, interesting way, but in a sort of, oh my God, I'm trying not to look at the screen, but I just can't. I just can't sort of way. It could be like that. Yes, so it could be a very interesting series. Yes. As I completely cock it up completely. Yes, completely. Anyway. Scott Barnes says, hello to TB. Oh my God, here we go, here we go. Oh, there's the TB Bear. He says, hello, Scott. In a very non-creepy way whatsoever. Put you back up there, you big bear. The game looks better than EA though, so I hope it does well. Yeah, I hope it does well as well. And I have to say, it does look very decent indeed. Oh, and hello to TB. Oh, another one, TB. Another one. Plynal Plessy says hello. Here we go. Give him a wave, TB. Oh, you're so bloody popular. Who would have thought a stuffed bear would become the star of the show? And I'm just the straight man now, aren't I? Yeah, the straight man. That's me, the straight man, and you're the comedy. You are, yes, yes. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? It's just a bear. It's just a stuffed bear. As old, can't remember his name. Back in the 90s. It's just a puppet. It's a puppet. But Brian Conley. There you go. Just remembered it. Matthew D'Souza says, hi, Dave Hook. Well, hello there, Matthew. He says, Plynal Plessy scored 5 goals, to be fair. He did. Well done, Plynal. Well done indeed. He also says, I did FIFA Manager mode once, but that was on 2012. 2012. Wow, that's going back a long way. Yes. I wonder if TB knows about Paddington Bear. Shh! No! We don't mention Paddington Bear. No. Ever since that video with the Queen, I've tried not to show him. No, because he'll get very upset. Yes, because he wanted to have some cucumber sandwiches with the Queen, but no, bloody Paddington fucking Bear got in there and beat him to it. Fucking bear. Just because he's bloody more popular and, you know, he's voiced by that Q bloke out of James Bond. I don't know what his name is. Ben Whistler. I don't know. But just because of all that, and he's really popular, and because he's been around longer than TB has, obviously. But it was that series with the Queen. Yeah. It just came up as me and TB were settling down and watching it as well. And it just came up, and I made to switch it off quick. So he doesn't know. All right, TV, good on you. Bloody bears. Will you do a live stream when the F1 22 game is out? Yes, I will be doing a live stream. I think it's out on the Friday of. I think it is Friday, it's the 1st of July. So I will be doing a live stream. I'm getting it for the cheapest price possible I can find it, which is a very nice online retailer. This version, yes, very cheap it is, very cheap. It's the cheapest I can find it anyway. So I won't be streaming it until the actual day of release, because that's when it will come in the post. If the Royal Mail can actually post things properly these days, which I don't know. I ordered a HDMI splitter. It's only a stupid thing from eBay for £3.50 or whatever, because my other one broke. £3.50 it was, and it came by Royal Mail. Do you know how long it took to get here? Do you know? 8 days. 8 days. In the end, even eBay kept sending me emails and saying, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. Yeah, Royal Mail. Absolutely disgraceful. Brian Connolly is his name. Yes, that's the chappie. It's a puppet! And the All Seasons video was epic and lovely to see the small unrated hit a milestone. Yep, was good. I enjoyed that very much indeed. I was in two minds what to do, because I looked back through some of the old All Seasons and I realised that at 200 episodes I did a special, at 250 episodes I did a special, and at 300 episodes I did a special, but I noticed they were pretty similar of what they were. So I thought, well, I don't really want to do that again, so I thought I'll just do the 350 episode as normal, so nobody's going to say anything about that. So it's just a normal episode, and I thought I'd add this extra video on as a sort of extra on the Monday, the day after the All Seasons, to just to say thank you for 350 episodes. Now, I was trying to work out some things about that. The main thing I was trying to work out is how many races I've actually done. Now, I do 2 races every episode, so that's 2 times 350. It's roughly, because sometimes I have 3 races in an episode, but sometimes I only have 1, depending on how the seasons have gone. So you can roughly say it's double 350. Now, I'm hopeless at maths. That's 700, isn't it? So I've done 700 races in 5 years. In 5 years, I've done 700 races. Oh my God. That's just incredible. Now think about it, that's just incredible. Anyway. Has TB heard of the game Five Nights at Freddy's? Shh. I haven't told him about that one either, Matt. No, he doesn't know about that. No, I don't let him play computer games. Not after the incident in the ERL race in 2016 with Joe, because he's actually banned now from any future controller antics. Because that was just horrific. That was horrific. I mean, that poor man is still getting nightmares today. And it was, 6 years ago now? 6 years ago, and he still gets nightmares about being taken out by that bear, because it wasn't my fault. I had a very important phone call that came out at the time, so I handed the controller over to the bear. He took control, but unfortunately, it was right at the start of the race. It was at Russia. We went into turn 1. Well, some of us went into turn 1. The bear, I don't know where the fuck he was going. He was halfway to the next Grand Prix, I think. I don't know. Into turn 1, and he wiped out half the field, and one of those he wiped out was the plant pot. Yes, the Terminator himself, and he's never got over it. Never got over it. Anyway, still look at the messages. What else we got? A new World Superbike game is coming out for the first time in 10 years. Milestone of doing it, having heard all the rumours for years. I'm glad it's not motor scam games. Yes, quite true. Well, they've really fucked up royally that touring car game, haven't they? Oh my god. They get everyone's hopes up, expectations, and now, oh yeah, it's coming out in 2024 now. What? What the? Why is it taking so long? You're not Rockstar, are you? I don't get it. Absolutely scandalous. You build everyone's hopes up, then you put it on the website, and then don't put it on there, and just a little footnote at the bottom of the screen saying, oh yeah, it'll be released at some point. And now you're saying, yeah, that some point is going to be 2024. I'm actually very glad. I'm very glad, and I hope that it doesn't get released at all. Because I know from the minute that comes out, I will have the expectations of Toka Touring Car, the first one, by Codemasters, 1997. Unforgettable game. And I know it's going to be nothing like that whatsoever. Going to be so disappointed, and that'll be it. So I'm very, very glad it's been delayed for 2 years, and hopefully something will happen to motor scam games and they'll fold up or get taken over by Google or something, and it won't come out at all, because I really don't want it to come out. I really don't want it to come out because I know what it's going to be like. So yeah, just forget about it. Just forget about it, because I'm done with it. Done with Toka Touring Car. But what a great game that was, 1997. And some of the cheats were quite possibly the best cheats you could have had in any game ever. The Lava Land cheat, if you remember that, where it's all turned to lava and you were jumping over these big hills. Oh, that was great. And the tank, don't forget the tank. Oh my god. Yeah, you could drive as a tank. And that was back in the day. Oops, my screen has frozen. There's a frozen screen. Hang on a minute. Oh, no, it's come back. It's come back, everyone. My screen froze there for a moment, but we are back on. Yeah, so you had the tank, you had the Lava Land track as well. That was just epic. And that was in the days when you had cheats. And unfortunately, I've said this before, they've been replaced basically by trophies and achievements and whatever. It's not a patch on cheats, is it, really? Trophies and achievements. It's really not. I'm very disappointed that there's really very little cheats in games these days, because it was just, I mean, think of the Grand Theft Auto games, how many cheats you could put into them. It was unbelievable. Yeah, all right, it completely fucked the game up unless you remember to undo them all, because I did that once with pedestrians kill you cheat on GTA 3, and I forgot to undo it and saved it, and then the whole game was ruined, because every time I drove in the car and went out of the garage, the pedestrians were just throwing rocket launchers and Molotov cocktails at me and everything, and that was it. I had to restart it because it was just ruined, completely buggered. And I even tried putting the cheat in to see if it would deactivate, but no, once you saved it, that was it. Game over. So yeah, but that was great times, the cheats in games were just absolutely brilliant. I'm very, very sad that trophies have replaced them, because I don't know about any of you lot, but trophies to me, I mean, if a trophy comes up in the corner of my screen these days, I'm like, oh, good trophy. Fantastic. Oh, there you go. Archie plays that game. A shame cheat codes aren't a thing anymore. Yes, indeed. Right, let's start the show with a little bit about real Formula One before we continue. I've got a few things ready to go. So let's have a look at the point situation after Monaco. Yes, Monaco. Yes. Where can I put myself so I can't see myself? There you go. Go down there, Dave. Go down there. So at the moment, we got Maxi Boy Verstappen leading the championship with 125 points. Charles Leclerc in second place for Ferrari with 116. In third place, it's Checo. Sergio Perez with 110 points. George Russell, everyone, is in fourth place with 84 points. Carlos Sainz in fifth position with 83 points. Very close. And bringing up the rear, Stop it, Dave. Stop it. Is the blessed one himself, Lewis Hamilton, with a whole 50 World Championship points. And you know what? I think that deserves a celebratory clap. Well done, Lewis. 50 World Championship points. Considering you say the car is worse than your 2009 McLaren, that's a bloody good achievement, mate. Bloody good achievement indeed. Well done on those 50 World Championship points. Yes. So there you go. It's unfortunately Charles has lost the championship lead due to everything that's happened to him in the last couple of races. So that's gone for Charles Leclerc. And I know there's a lot of Ferrari fans out there, but I have sort of said from the start of the season that I don't think Charles is going to win the championship. I don't. I really think it's going to be Max again. I just don't think Charles is going to get there. I think too many things are going to go wrong. I think Charles might possibly make a few mistakes, and that will put him down the pecking order. But at the moment, it looks like Red Bull have definitely got a slight advantage as well on the Ferraris, definitely. Especially in the last couple of races. Of course, they had a lot of problems at the start of the season with their engines, which just kept blowing up, which was not good, not good. But now they seem to have got that sorted out. I'm not quite sure whether they're actually what engines they're still on at the moment, because they had to continue with the Honda engines because they hadn't finished the little add-on to their factory that was going to be the place that makes all their engines. I think they said it was going to be July. Maybe they've already got that done by now, and now the last few races they've actually, because this is all secret stuff, we don't know what goes on, do we, at Red Bull in their factory? We're not privy to that kind of information. So maybe they've done that now, and maybe they're actually in-house making these engines, and that's why we've had a lot more reliability in the last few rounds of the championship, which unfortunately is bad news for Ferrari, because yes, I don't think they're going to be the champions at the end of the year. I would like to see a Ferrari as a world champion. I'm not really bothered if it's Charles or Carlos Sainz, to be honest. I think Carlos a little bit further down than Charles Leclerc in terms of performance. Just a tiny tad. He's a good driver and he's a good lad, but he's just a little bit behind Charles Leclerc. So I would think out of the two, Charles would be the one that would take the championship. But I just don't think he's quite got that edge at the moment. But anything can happen. We're still very, very early into the championship. It's a long season once again, 22 races. We've got 4 races in July. Yes, which would be one a week, as I said it was, but I got that wrong because it's not one a week. Well, it is one a week, but there's a 2-week gap because there's actually 5 weeks in July, because it's one of those months when there's 5 weeks in it. So we have actually got 4 races in July, but yeah, there's one with a 2-week gap. So there you go. So yeah, a lot of races to get through, quite possibly from now. I think it ramps up from now, doesn't it, through June and through July. And of course, then we're going to go into the summer break of 3 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of F1 races to go. So this chart up there is going to look very different in about 6 weeks. Very different indeed. Will it still have Baxi Boy at the top of it? Possibly. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. So yeah, it was an exciting Monaco Grand Prix. When it started, let me get rid of that now and put myself back up there. Do apologise, as I said. It's all done manually. I'll sort that out in a minute. Yeah, as I said, when it started, I thought, oh, here we go, it's another typical Monaco Grand Prix. It got really sort of, I don't know, boring till about lap 17, and I was like, here we go, must be time for my sleep again. And then when they all started coming in, the pit stop started, I was like, what the? It just exploded into this massive orgasm of things going on. And not only was I awake, I was glued to the screen like, eh? And when it all actually slowed down, and like the last 10 laps or whatever, and it slowed right down, I was like, oh, can't we have a few more laps? I was enjoying that. That's what I was like. But yeah, unfortunately it did slow down towards the end. But that middle section was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It really was. And I thoroughly enjoyed it because I do like unpredictability unpredictability in F1 races. As Bernie Ecclestone said back in the day, what they should do every race is sprinkle some water onto the track. And he had a point. He had a point, because without the rain, I don't think that race would have been any exciting at all, really, to be honest. But the rain came down and away it was. I've got fuck all idea why the FIA decided to delay the race by 64 minutes. And now they've got this new rule in where you've only got 3 hours to run the race, including if you stop it, which I think is absolutely bloody stupid. Because I was so dismayed when we're only just over halfway distance through the race and then the 30-minute clock comes up. And I'm like, what? Yeah, because you've already stopped the race for 60 minutes, pouncing around trying to decide whether to run it or not. This isn't bloody IndyCar or NASCAR or whatever, you know. If it rains, you can still run the race, you know, only if it's absolutely chucking it down. So I don't get what the idea was there about stopping the race for so long. They were actually trying to predict the weather, but you can't predict the weather. People have been trying to predict the weather for the last 200 years. You can't really. You can be very good at predicting it, but you still can't predict it 100%. So they should have just run that race however the weather was. And, you know, even under the safety car for the first few laps, and then on full wets, just run the bloody race. Don't sit there in the bloody garage. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. As I say, it's just nanny state in Formula One again, isn't it? It's, oh, they can't go out now. It's raining. It's raining. Oh, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just go out and run the bloody race. So yeah, apart from all that, I was very impressed with Monaco. As I said in the last video, I was like, oh God, it's Monaco. It's going to be a bore fest. But no, it was pretty damn exciting in that middle period. I'll say, apart from when the 30-minute clock came out and I was like, oh, fuck's sake. I mean, it was so much better when they had the 2-hour time limit for the race, because even if you had red flags, because that was actual race time, you had 2 hours to complete the race. Not like now where you got 3 hours, but if they stop the race, that's also included. That's ridiculous. Many, many times, yeah, the clock has run out pretty much about the same as when the normal race would finish. So that was pretty much a perfect system. But no, the FIA, in their ultimate wisdom, decided, no, we'll fuck around with the system and we'll add now 3 hours. 3 hours, including stoppages as well. Good God. Good bloody God, what is the world coming to? I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. I don't understand it. Anyway, we got more messages. I'm going to go to them, and then we're going to have a talk about the F1 game, and then we'll go to Facebook, and then we'll finish the show. So there's the procedure for the next 45 minutes. Lionel Plessy says at least he got to win in the 2009 McLaren. Yeah, that's right. I don't know what he's moaning about. I really don't. That 2009 McLaren was not a bad car. Obviously, you had the Brawl in 2009, which at the start of the season was absolutely unbeatable and came out of nowhere and caught, excuse me, and caught everyone by surprise, including Honda, who sold the team the year before. They were like, what the fuck? What the fuck's just happened to our team? What? That's our old team. Wait. How well did we do last year? Weren't we winning races? Weren't we coming about 14th in all the races last year? And it's the first race of the season and Jensen's bloody won it. It's bloody won it. Oh, fucking hell. I bet all the Honda team were doing their, you know, what Japanese people do when things go wrong. That was just unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, he had nothing to moan about there whatsoever. And of course, you know, towards the end of that 2009 season, everyone else suddenly worked out what a rear diffuser actually was and how it worked and how Braun were using it and how they weren't using it. And so they started to catch up. And of course, towards the end of the season, Jenson Button still won the championship, but it was very, very bloody close because the Braun was just dropping down the field. It was going from first down to fifth, down to, in the end, it was 10th and 11th place finishing, wasn't it? In the end, it's just unbelievable because they just caught up and the Red Bulls had overtaken them, and it was just really exciting. But yeah, that will never be seen, I don't think, in Formula One again. It was just Ross Brawn taking advantage of the regulation changes, and he basically caught everyone else out. They didn't get this rear diffuser thing in time, and it was at least 5 races in before they suddenly worked out what Brawn were actually doing. They weren't doing anything illegal, by the way. No, the car was within the regulations. It's just how they'd interpreted the regulations was different to how everyone else had interpreted it. And that meant that their car was bloody fast indeed. Yes, bloody fast. So yeah, that's how it worked. Ricciardo in 11th and Vettel not even on the first page. Yes, that's disappointing. What do we think about Daniel Ricciardo? There's a lot of rumours going around that he will be out at the end of the year and won't be coming back to any other team, because once you've left in, not disgrace, but in a terms of there's no performance left out of you, it's very unusual for you to come back. You know, it's all very well for world champions to take breaks for 2 or 3 years and then come back. But for someone who's in Daniel's position, where he's not really doing very well at all, I can't see any team wanting to invest in him. Even like the back market teams. I mean, even they are picking really good drivers these days. They're not picking useless ones like the old days with Ricardo Rossi in the Tyrrell, are they? I mean, for God's sake, if you want to call Alfa Romeo a back market team, which I suppose they are really, and yet they got Valtteri Bottas. I mean, look at that. That's just amazing. I never thought they'd get someone like Valtteri Bottas into their team, to be honest. But yes, they've got him. So yeah, even the back market teams are putting like decent drivers in there. So yeah, for Daniel Ricciardo, I think it could be game over. Very sad to see, but these things happen. And he could be gone at the end of the season. Oh my God, we got Mr. Dominic Orlando in the house. He says, good evening, Dominic. Welcome from Canada. Welcome from Canada. He's probably making that fucking chicken monstrosity again while he's watching this right now. Oh God, yeah, I'll tell you, it's horrendous. It really is horrendous. JW97 says, who will win the F1 Games battle? Is that even a debate? Well, yes. Is that even a debate, to be honest? Well, hopefully it should be a good battle. The only thing I can see as a problem is the fact that we could all get F1 fatigue and we're going, oh God, it's F1 again. But as I said in my other video the other day, that shouldn't happen because they are two completely different games. One's a management game and one is your standard F1 add the next digit onto the end of the title game, isn't it, really? I mean, you're going to have elements of both in each other's games. I mean, there are elements of management options in the F1 22 game, but that's been creeping in for the last 3 or 4 years now, hasn't it? So they're going to be in there. And you're going to have elements of F1 22 are going to be in the management game as well. That's obvious. So yeah, but thankfully, unlike the old days, when you get 4 F1 games come out in the same year and they're exactly the same game with no difference whatsoever, and everyone was like, well, what's the point in buying this one? It's an F1 game and there's no difference. And of course, back then, the rules and regulations were so stringent that you couldn't change anything. So the cars had to be exactly the same. The liveries, you couldn't put nuclear missiles on top of your F1 car and start firing them at each other. No. FIA wouldn't allow that sort of thing. So yeah, there were 4 games in 1 year. That was 1999. Exactly the same game. But thankfully, these will be 2 entirely different games. So who will win? Well, of course, Codemasters, they have got the home field advantage because they're coming out first. So they can really promote this, to the next level. But have we all got Codemasters fatigue now after last year's game, which, let's be fair, was pretty underwhelming. F1 2021 was not what I would say a decent F1 game. 2020 was a lot better. than 2021. But a lot of that was due to the actual handling of the cars, which, so I've been seeing, is going to be a lot better this year. But don't they say that every year? Yes. F1 2011, anyone? Yes. Oh, God. That was atrocious. Final Plessy says, Red Bull have their own powertrain. Oh, there you go. There you go. So they're ready to go. That's probably why they're doing so well. It's a Honda. It is still a Honda, yeah. Ferrari are bottlers, says Matthew D'Souza. Never trust them, Dave. Righto, Matt. I won't trust them. It's just rebranded as RBBT. Yeah, okay. Hence why HRC is on the engine cover. Honda Racing Corporation. Yes. And don't you forget it. Final Plessy says, I don't know if you heard about MotoGP last week, Dave. One rider celebrated too early, thinking the race was over. He was running second and finished fifth. No, I didn't hear about that. Oh, that's quite funny, actually, I have to say. That's quite funny. I like that. Remember to mute the words Love Island on Twitter, people. Well, thankfully, Matt, I don't go on Twitter very often these days. I mean, I'm on it every day, but I don't spend a long time on it. So, yeah, that's good. Not since Mr. Musk has taken it over. It just smells a little bit too musky these days. But I still use it every day because, you know, why not? Why not? I'm not going to just leave it, but, you know, I'm not certainly on it like... Mind you, I've never been on Twitter that much, to be honest. So, yeah, it's probably about the same as normal. Same as normal. They delayed the start to give drivers a chance to change to the correct tyres, but then there was a power cut with the start lights. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. A power cut? That's outrageous. At Monaco, with all their money, that's a little bit sad, isn't it? Which then led to the race director deciding to start the race behind the safety car, which then created more carnage, as when it's declared on the safety car start, it is mandatory to fit the extreme wet. Oh dear, that was a little bit of a fuck up then, wasn't it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And then the heavens opened. Yes, they did. Final Plessy says 2009 was the strangest season ever. Red Bull and Braun Honda were near the back and were soon up front. Yes. It was a very strange season. Very strange season. Oh, Mr. Joseph Plantplot's in the Plantplot. I can't say it properly. Is in the house. He says, hey. He says, invite. Yeah, all right, Joseph. All right. Just calm down. Calm down. I'll get to you soon. I've got to finish my waffling first. Yeah. Then we get to that. Final Plessy says, I hate to say it, but a lot of people here are debating whether Ricardo Rossi is Formula One material. And it's a fairly short debate, Murray. Yes, that classic line, of course. Classic line from Mr. Ricardo Rossi. I mean, he was just terrible. There's probably a YouTube video all about Ricardo Rossi somewhere, so go and have a look at him. But he was quite possibly... the worst, he was one of the worst drivers in Formula One. In fact, he should never have been granted a super license because he was just unbelievably bad. Really, unbelievably bad. Unbelievable. Even the back marker teams have good drivers. It's not like the old days when we had Ricardo Rossi, Nicholas Latifi must be a future world champion then. Yeah, all right. I did forget about Nicholas Latifi. Yes, all right. He's not very good. Not very good. But, you know, most of the other teams have got pretty decent drivers in them if you look at the field. Except for Nicholas Latifi. Lionel Plessy says, imagine asking who wins the F1 game battle in 2000. EA, Studio Liverpool, Microphone, etc. Yeah, I know. It was just ridiculous. It really was. I know who won it for me. It was Studio Liverpool every time because those EA games just they couldn't compete. And yet a lot of people love those games. All I say to you now is go back and play them again, and maybe take the rose tinted glasses off, and you'll see exactly what they were. They weren't that good. Jeff Crammond. Oh, Jeff Crammond. I've got one of his games, you know. Is it behind me? I'm just trying to spin round. No, I can't see it behind me. But right down there next to me, I've got an old Commodore Amiga. It's down at my feet. And one of the Jeff Crammond games is on it. I think it's just called World Grand Prix or something. I'll dig it out one day and show it to you. But that game, oh my God. It's based on the 1992 season, of course, the one where Nigel Mansell, it's Mansell, it's Hill, it's Senna, it's Prost. Yes, it's the one with Nigel Mansell where he won the championship in 1992. And when I got that game, because it had proper 3D graphics, all right, very simple 3D graphics, you know, but it did have 3D graphics, and it was, I just couldn't stop playing that game. And the thing about it was there was so much depth and immersion. Are you listening to me, EA Games, when you talk about immersion? There was so much depth and immersion. And you could, the best thing about it was you could do a full Grand Prix. I'd never seen that before in a computer game where you could do a full Grand Prix. And even better, because unfortunately, if I remember rightly, you couldn't pause it while it was running because the game engine was working all the time trying to work out positions on the screen, so it couldn't actually stop the game. So if you went to pause it, your driver would go into AI mode, automatic. So you'd carry on going automatically, yeah, but the game would still keep running. And then when you came back to it, you could take back control of your car. That was brilliant. I loved that. So you could nip off and have a cup of tea. Your driver would carry on going. Now, unfortunately, like most AI drivers, his performance level went right down to compared to what you could do with the car. So it was only okay if you weren't doing very well in the race anyway, and you know couldn't be bothered. So you'd go off a cup of tea and the race would carry on going. Then you'd take back control and see if you could get back up the field again. I used to like doing that because I'd go and have a cup of tea, come back and I was like in 10th position. I'd gone down to about 16th and then I'd try and get back up into 10th again and then go away and have another little break. That was great. But that was a great game and I just couldn't stop playing that when that came out. Scott Barnes says 2009. Yes. Asked for an invite in the stream chat and he still won't show up, calling it now. You're quite right. He won't. Hello, Anthony. Is that Bilby? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Lionel Plessy says, Studio Liverpool games are much better only because of commentary during the race. Quite true. I need to bring back commentary. I don't know why they got rid of it, to be honest. But bring back commentary. Just like the Murray Walker ones. Because they were just great. Formula 1 Grand Prix. I think that's what it was, yes. Would you ever do a live stream on your second channel and play non-F1 games? Toka, Tomb Raider. I'd love to do that, Scott. I would love to do that. Unfortunately, due to my PC limitations, I don't think it's going to work because my PC struggles just to do this, which is just me talking to a camera. So actually putting games on and playing them at the same time, I don't know, but it's something I would like to do. I've got a capture card which apparently takes most of the load off your PC because it's got its own little decoder inside it. So maybe I should experiment with that one day and see what I could come up with. What would I do? Well, I'd get away from racing games, so I'd probably do a test of one of the Tomb Raider games and see how I get on with it. But yeah, I'd love to do that. See what happens. I mean, anything on PS4 I can stream straight away anyway because you can just go straight through the PS4 streaming service, which is easy. But it's anything like the old Tomb Raider or anything like that, then I'd have to do it through the PS3. And then, of course, as I say, I've got to go through the streaming on my capture card, which I don't know if it's going to work or not. But I'd be open to give it a try. One day, I'll give it a try, see what happens. Because there's someone called Joseph Planpart who keeps screaming at me to do Tomb Raider. I don't know why. Keeps screaming at me to do a Tomb Raider walkthrough, but I don't know. Maybe. F1 Manager is currently embarrassing EA. First manager game in years, and they already have red flags. Yep, they sure do. I saw a video on YouTube the other day. The last time they had red flags was 2014 for Codemasters. 2014. Yeah, that's a long time ago, isn't it? Long time ago. Joseph says, oh, I'm here just waiting for Dave to finish his opening monologue. Well, it's a long opening monologue. You should text on a channel special. Yes, like 2K, for example. It was actually based on the 1991 season, a bit without the official teams and driver names. Thankfully, you could edit the names. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Right, before I go on to Facebook, I've got one final thing I want to talk about. It's only going to take about 5 minutes. So let's bring it up on the screen here. This is quite possibly the most, I don't know, come down I've ever experienced. Now, David Greco is the chief at Codemasters. Chief, I don't know what he is, what his job title is entirely. Chief designer, chief. He basically does the handling and all the physics on the F1 games. David Greco. Now, unfortunately, I've never heard his voice. Never heard his voice. So, and this video was released by Codemasters in fact, the same day that F1 Manager released their trailer. Interesting. And for the first time, for me anyway, not for you lot out there, you've probably heard it many times, I heard David Greco's voice. And I was just like, oh my God, this is just so exciting. I just can't wait to hear David Greco's voice. So here he is. I'm only going to play a little bit because I don't want to get copyright striked or whatever. So I'll just do it quickly. But here is David Greco.
22 cars.
The major changes we made start first of all from the physics engine and the physics model. We had to look at what the real cars were doing and the differences that they made this new era of the cars, and we saw that they would be running much lower to the ground, for example. So we knew we had to improve and change.
I was so disappointed. After all this time of not hearing the chief designer of Codemasters' voice. That's it. I'm sorry, but I just had this image in my head, yeah, of Doc Brown from Back to the Future. This wide-eyed old scientist, yeah, sitting there going, Marty, you've got to come back with me. We're going back to the future. And he sits there in an office all day. Trying to invent up new physics models, and I was just so excited. And then when his voice come on, I was like, no. He sounds a bit like Kimi Räikkönen, doesn't he? Now, David Greco, if you happen to be watching this, which I'm pretty sure 99.9% chance that you're not, but just in case you are, I'd just like to say, no insult was intended there. No insult was intended. It was just purely my perception of what you are. And it just completely disappointed me entirely, unfortunately. I was expecting, as I say, this really crazy man. You know, going, oh, look, let's put this bit on. Oh, let's make the physics 5% softer in the rear and all that. But in the end, it was disappointing. I'm sorry. As I say, no offence. He's probably very good at his job. Well, he must be. He's been at Codemasters for ages. I think they had him back when they first started at the F1 games. I'm pretty sure he did. So, yeah. So, obviously, he's doing something right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept him on so long. But, yeah. So, I do apologise if by some micro schism of a chance you're watching this. It's no offence to you personally. My expectations were so high for your voice that they just come crushing down when you started speaking. So there you go. I just wanted to get that in. David Greco, everyone. Chief designer at Codemasters. And Dave's now very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed indeed. Doc Brown, for Christ's sake. I have to tell you about the future. In 2022, EA Sports is going to produce a completely crap F1 game. No, don't tell me that now. Oh dear. Jamie says, I'm going to fund a Dave F1 Manager series. Thank you, Jamie. He sure is. Oh, the 30-minute dev diary. He first joined codes in 20... Is that... I can't read that. Is that 2015? 2015. The first time the F1 game... Yeah, I knew he'd been there a long time. As I say, that's nothing against David Greco, okay? I'm not taking the mickey out of him. It's just that, as I say, that's the first time I've ever heard his voice. And my expectations were, as I say, of this Doc Brown character sitting in an office all day with long wispy hair. And that was what we get. And I was like, oh. Disappointed! Disappointed! So there you go. I just thought I'd share it with you because I found that quite funny. Oh dear. It's great, isn't it, when the people that you think are great suddenly turn out to not be to your expectations. But it's only because of the voice, basically. I'll say he sounds a little bit like Kimi Räikkönen. He's got a very, very Kimi sort of monotone voice the way he speaks as well, hasn't he? But anyway, David Greco, everyone. Fantastic. But in fairness, he joined after F1 2015 released. Well, that's good. That's good news. Yeah. They must have sacked everyone on 2015 then, which is not surprising because I would have done. Absolutely atrocious game. Do you know they still haven't fixed the tyre wear at Austria? No. Honestly. Yeah. It still says at Austria, if you do a 50% race, that you've got to stop 4 times and you run out of tyres after about the halfway point and you've got no tyres left. And the tyre wear for all your tyres is like 100%, and you just end up going around the circuit, bursting all your tyres. They still haven't fixed it. Come on, Codemasters, where's my patch for F1 2015? I've been waiting for God knows how many years, and you still haven't released it yet. I want my patch for 2015. I want to be able to play Austria. 50% race to the end. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, I've been waffling on now for 51 minutes. Will Dave finally get F1 22 early like the other F1 YouTubers? No, Matt, Dave will not be getting it early because Dave will not suck up to EA Sports. No, he refuses to. Absolutely refuses to. And it's only the people that suck up to EA Sports that get the games early. And I refuse to. I will have the game on release day and no quicker than that. I promise you. If you do see it on my channel before release day, then you will know that Dave has finally sold out to the dark side, and there will be no going back from that after that. Yes, so just remember that. If you see it before the release day, I've sold out to the dark side. Yes. He got high because he did sim racing on R Factor, Formula Sim Racing the series to be exact. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, there you go, everyone. David Greco. In no way has he got a boring voice whatsoever. He sounds epic, like Kimi Räikkönen on steroids. He does, like Kimi Räikkönen. Not really. He sounds like a sort of bank manager when you go in for a loan. You know, it's like, oh yes, well, I just got to go and sort out the paperwork that you require. You'd like to borrow how much now? £20,000. Oh dear. 20 over how many years now? Oh, 50 years. You want to borrow £20,000 over 50 years? Oh, okay. I'll just go and talk to the manager. Hang on. Anyway, let's continue now. So I've finished waffling. 53 minutes later. It's now time for everyone's Daft Dave. It's worse than that. I am your father. No! That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Anyway, enough of the Star Wars references because I get a lot of piss taking about my love of Star Trek and Star Wars. Yes, so we'll gloss over that now and we'll continue with the rest of the show. I just require your bank account details and sort code. Thank you very much. Oh God. So let's get on. Now, after last week's problems, if anyone remembers, when I had to reset the stream because the Facebook chat didn't work, before I started this chat, I've restarted my PC. Hopefully everything is fine now. I just, fingers crossed, everything is fine. Dave, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Oh, thanks, Dom. I was just going to the chat and now he says I'll be back in 15 minutes. Unbelievable. Right, anyway. Let's switch myself off. Deactivate. Let's go. To Facebook. I do apologise. It's very slow. Very slow. Oh, now he's back. Unbelievable. You can recover from an illness in 15 minutes. Yes, you can. Right, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it's going to work. Right. Who shall we have in the chat and who shall we get rid of? Well, we'll get rid of that man because he's never in there. Or that one. Or that one. Or that one. What's this? Dominic Orlando? Oh, God, we don't want him in the chat, do we? No, get rid of him. So that's him gone. Who else have we got? Well, he never turns up. We'll keep him. We'll get rid of that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 in the chat. All right, you've got to go. Now we've got 9 in the chat. Oh, that one can go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. Now, of course, anyone can join at any time that they want because this is just going to the general chat. So here we go then. Oh, God. This is always my favourite part of the show, you know. Oh, God. Let's see how much excitement we can get this week on Hookster Talks. Now, you better work this week, Facebook. Come on. You better work. Oh, it worked straight away. Wowzers, me trousers. Don't believe it. Let's see how much excitement.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
You better work. I can. Come on.
Hey,
Hang
can
on,
you hear me?
I have to mute the, there we go.
Oh my God, what the hell is
Hey,
that
how's
in the
everybody
top
doing?
right hand corner?
Son of a
What?
bitch.
What
Son of a
even is
bitch.
that?
What's going on? How are you guys doing tonight?
Dom?
This is
Good.
my new setup.
Are you trying to copy Joe from last week?
It's
Is this what
bullshit.
this is about?
Not at all.
You know what, Dom?
What do
Copy
you want?
this.
Oh my God,
I didn't
dude!
realise.
Just
I
get a
didn't
new
realise what then was what
wardrobe.
then. I thought that
Dude.
Joe was in the white shirt. I didn't realise.
Yeah, so did I. Dom.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Dave.
Dom, I am a straight man, but I can't stop staring at those legs.
Yeah,
Copy this, Dom.
it's riding up a little bit.
Yeah, I just. Oh my
Oh,
God!
is this-
Oh look!
is this
Oh
allowed
no!
on
I just.
Hookster
I can't.
Talks?
No. No. I can't. No.
Is
No.
this
No.
allowed
No.
on
No.
Hookster
No.
Talks?
No. 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 Oh God. Oh God.
Joe, seriously.
I just think there needs to be some monetization lines that need to be drawn in the sand. Joe, I mean, you can't do this, bud. I know
Take your
you
shirt
look
off, Dom.
up to me and you're trying to dress like me and be like me, but it needs to stop.
Take your shirt off, Dom.
No.
Take it off, Dom.
I'm not gonna copy you, Joe. That's
Well,
not
you,
what I
you
do.
copied Joe from last week. You're wearing literally the exact same thing Joe wore last week.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Don. I'm sorry.
Yes, you
I
did.
just have no idea what you're talking
White
about.
shirt, sunglasses.
I mean, if you gentlemen want to talk about Formula One, that's a nice hat you're wearing, Don. Very appropriate for Hookster Talks. How will the
Thanks.
Mercedes do this week? You know what I mean?
Fucking
Maybe
terrible. Like they've been
Oh,
all
okay.
year.
Yeah. That's how are you doing, Joe?
I'm fine.
Anyway, Dave, I will say F1 Manager does look really good.
Biggest
It
douche.
does. Joe, you look like Mark Wahlberg.
Hold on, my Game Garage sale is here.
Yeah, take off your stupid outfit.
It looks like Marky Mark.
It does.
Hey, Jake, how are you doing?
Oh God.
Back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark, this is how Joe used to make the party start.
I think
Look, the Canadian's gone
Yeah, I
already.
think
He's been
EA
here 2 minutes
I
and he's
think
gone.
EA's got a tough task in hand to be F1 Manager 22.
I-
We were talking about the F1 game battle.
Yes, I think you're gonna have a tough battle. We will see what
I
happens.
agree. I tell you,
And that was a good point. If I was part of that the other day, that was a good point. How does F1 Manager have the F3 logo? If F3 is going to be in that game, but the official F1 game can't have F3.
Yeah, I know. It's a sad state of affairs, to be honest.
I tell you what, EA are lucky that there's such a gap in between release dates.
Yeah,
Because I think obviously people will buy F1 Manager, and those sort of games like you get hooked on them, and you always want to do better. There's always something to do. There's always something to improve. You always want your team to be like the best it can be, and it draws you in. The same like all them sort of games, you end up sitting there playing them for like bloody 6 hours or something stupid, not even realizing where the time's gone. Like, and that's what will happen. And whereas with like just a normal racing game, you pick it up, you have a couple of races, you put it down again. More often or not, because you're playing online and some twat smashed into the back of you every race you play, or it's just not a playable game anyway. But
yeah. I mean, to an extent, that's what they've been doing the last few years with the official F1 game, isn't it? They've been trying to get into management aspects of it. You can see it creeping in, can't you? Where you start with your own team and you've got to build up, resources and stuff like that. So they've basically been copy and pasting some of the elements of the F1 manager games for, I say, the last 3 or 4 years now. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Like I say, I think they're lucky that there's such a gap in between, and as well, the one thing EA are good at, but I'm not so sure because they've only just come back into making this. They are actually good at releasing a game that's ready, or that in their eyes is ready. They don't have. There are other sports games, FIFA, Madden, NHL, everything like that, NBA. Like when they come out, the games are generally ready. There's not like really any glitches in them. And then any tiny bits, they do update them pretty quickly. But whether what they think is ready is what everyone wants, especially with like, I think the handling model and things like that, that's where they're going to struggle, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what F122 is July 1st, and what F1 Manager is August 23rd or 20 something like that.
Yeah.
25th, yeah.
25th.
25th if you pre-order it, but it's the end of the month if you just have it ordinary, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, I thought it.
Yeah, it's the end of August if you just have it as a normal thing. But if you pre-order it, you get it on the 25th, early access. So it says on their video.
Usually early access is like 3 days. So
Yeah, no, it's a bit longer, I think. Yeah.
Never usually a lot, is it? But we'll see. I think, like I say, they'll release a game that they think's ready, but then as soon as some people touch it and they're flying off the curbs, or I think the AI will be the main issue. To be honest, I think it's how they get the AI. I don't think they'll get it right at first. I think there'll be a lot of updates to it.
I quite agree. Right, let's go.
Jamie, at least it's not Milestone that took over F1, because then you know there'd be a ton of issues if it was Milestone.
True. Let's go to the chat then. And Matthew D'Souza says, to make it easy, you could make an approximate time schedule so that the guys know when to join. Oh, I would do, Matt, but that's not my style. I'm a freewheeler, you know. I just turn up and that's it. It's the Canadian, says JW97. Plynal Plessy says, no, I think that was in reference, Joe, to you earlier with no shirt on, I think. He says you'll get Dave demonetized. He will, definitely.
Or I'll get you monetized.
Mr. Poochie Head is here as well. Where's Dom? Mr. Poochie Head's here. Dom!
Poochie!
Yeah,
Poochie!
He's come back now.
Poochie! Oh, Poochie! Oh, shit, Poochie's here?
Oh, God, no.
Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dave Streets are going to start turning into a fans-only bullshit.
I think you have to have fans for that to happen, Don. No one's going to be a fan of that turkey breast.
No, not Dave. Joe, update the league standings on the website.
Yep, they're all done now. Actually, I can forward them over, but
he's going to start selling.
Because I looked at the site yesterday. It was only round 2 posted.
Really, round 2? No, it should be more updated than that. But I'll check it out.
When I checked the other day and I tagged you in the chat, it was only the first 2 rounds.
Well, it'll be sorted. It's all done now. It's on the background, ready to go. I had to get a different chair, Dave, because mine's just too low to the ground for this camera.
Oh, I see. Nice one. What's he doing? Oh, God, he's putting his shirt back. God for that. Matthew says, Dave...
You can see me that far out?
Yeah, it's wide-angle camera, you sponge, isn't it?
That's amazing what cameras can do. Jesus.
How do you get a boy to stop copying you, Dave?
I don't know. I just don't know. Ban him. That's what you need to do. Ban him. Ban him from the league. Just cut him off as completely. Just don't talk to him.
Shut him off one day. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't talk to him.
Not to throw you under the bus, Joe, but I was wondering if we could have a steward's inquiry meeting about an incident that happened on Monday for the race lead on the final lap. Maybe you gentlemen can pitch your 2 cents in. Dave, I don't know.
The F1 or the classic race?
In the F1 race, in the ERL sanctioned event, there was a hard move that happened on the last lap at the end of the DRS straight, where I felt, upon further review, I don't know if there was a car's width between the white line and.
Well, you know what, Dom? You know what I
Joe's
recommend?
Car.
Get the video clip timestamp, show the guys, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. I mean, enough of this, little belly dance you're doing. Let's see what you're
belly dance. Okay.
Let's see why you're paying very much. Okay.
I wasn't there, so yeah, I'll have to view the video.
Oh yeah, that's perfect, Jamie. You can be a neutral kind of judge in all of this.
I think he was going to be neutral anyways, but
I mean, I don't like Canadians or Adele, but yeah,
You don't like Canadians or Adele?
She's Canadian, isn't she?
I thought she was British.
Oh, I don't like her.
Yeah, he doesn't like her.
She's got a really nice voice, though, Jamie. Like,
Tom, let's stay on topic here. Let's get to your.
You're insulting Adele, and I mean, like, she actually has vocal training, and I mean, the power she can emit through her voice and like her intonation is actually really. And I'm not talking about emotional power. I'm purely talking technique. It's really something.
You want to vilify one of the drivers in the race, so let's get to it. Enough of this waffling around with you talking about some chick.
Oh,
Okay?
actually, Maddie D in the chat did the timestamp for me. So
Thank you, Matt.
I'm gonna send the link to the Facebook chat.
Well, send it to me. I'll have a look.
Okay. ERL League chat is where I'm sending this to.
I've got Baby Yoda here. We'll judge.
No.
Oh, Baby Yoda. No, I'm sorry. It's too much.
Dave, so whenever he gets around to stabilizing mentally and to finish his concern, I would like to say, in regards to Monday, before you guys even see the video, since it's, getting there.
I'm watching it right now.
I was just racing, Dave. I was just racing. And I tried.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
of
tried my
course
best.
you were just racing, but there's also rules and regulations to racing.
I'm talking. Dom, I'm talking.
Sorry, well, what's going on? Shit. Pause, mute.
But yeah, Dave, I'm passionate,
At what time did this happen in the thing?
About 9:15 Eastern.
Dom, you said you had the timestamp on it, but like you've sent me the whole video.
Yeah, if you go to the comments of that video, Maddie D, the only comment it has it's like 56 minutes, 56 seconds.
All right. So if you already knew that, I didn't have to go to the comments. You could have just told me, couldn't you?
My sincerest apologies, Jamie. I know I'm making things very difficult for you. I'm just trying my best.
What is it you're trying your best to do? Just so we're all clear.
Trying my best to make things as easy as possible for Jamie to review the incident.
So,
all right, I'm watching now.
I need to hang about. Right, I'm there. So,
Dave, is there any way to get that on the stream or no?
I am trying, but my computer's saying no right now because I've got 4 people in the chat right now.
I'm just going to mute myself quickly whilst I watch it so that I can have the sound on for the thing because I'm watching on my phone at the moment. So I'll mute myself and then watch this quickly.
I've got it here, but as you can see, it's potato quality.
What the fuck are you talking about, Dom? You left way more than a car's width on the inside.
No, I'm talking
about. Even close.
No, Don, I'm talking about on the exit of the corner, Joe leaving me a car's width on the outside.
Well, I could have also baked you a cake, but I just didn't think it was necessary at the end of the race.
Oh.
I mean, the way that corner's shaped, I mean,
it's
tough to leave you a lane out there. I mean, I figured you had it covered. You're a great driver, Dom, and I figured that you were going to make use of the surface that was available to you.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you're a great driver too, Joe.
And Dom, another thing is, why didn't you close the door when you were clear?
That's a good question.
Can I turn off my camera first?
You left Joe a clear path to go back on the inside of you.
That's all I saw. I saw an opportunity to go to the inside. And
look at everyone. He's gone full Planet of the Apes mode now. Look at him.
Sorry,
for that. I have to say that was Joe's corner because he was back ahead of you on the braking zone and through the apex. Joe was ahead.
I'm just passionate.
I have to say that. If we're going by F1 rules, that's Joe's corner.
Yeah, I was aggressive, but I mean, it's the last lap. Don't you want the guys to be aggressive? Don't you want the guys to race?
Dom, that's a bit too much little whining now, I'm afraid.
Oh no, Jamie, no, sorry about that. I'm calm now. I'm ready to accept your honest opinion on the incident.
Well, honestly, you should have been more aggressive. You've been a pussy there, really, because Joe, just put your top on.
Yeah, I'm getting a different one. Jamie.
I'm not going to reverse my. I'm going to reverse my decision if you don't put a top back on.
Gotta
He's
find where the
breaking
tag
his
is.
shirt off to assert his dominance.
I gotta find the tag. You can't put the tag in the front because then the neck doesn't
He's
line up.
flexing right now.
Joe, it was like about this time 6 years ago. I was like over with you, and if you keep on taking your top off, I'm going to post a picture of your hair flipping about on a bike. So, like, fucking, just calm yourself down.
Yeah, I should have been more aggressive and
I mean,
covered
you
the
look a lot.
inside.
You look a lot better now. You've had that hair transplant, Joe. The front of your hair does seem to have come back somehow in 6 years.
No hair transplant, but we've used the Propecia.
Ah, yeah, okay, yeah, there we go.
If I could get the hair transplant, then it wouldn't look so thin here. But anyways, I don't want to talk about my hair. I'd rather just talk about
But anyway, Dom,
what Dom's upset about. I want to make him feel better.
Dom,
Dom,
why
you-
did you leave so much room on the inside when you were clear?
Exactly. As soon as he goes past Joe there, you pull over to the left and you go into that corner. You're the one who's left like the massive space. Like,
Yeah, in all honesty, I actually misjudged how far back Joe was. I thought he was still alongside me.
I mean,
I wasn't paying
going
attention
down that
to the
straight,
red and white arrow.
I made a 3 wide pass on Dusty and Matt.
Yeah. I mean, upon further review, there was space down there. I should have covered it off, but I didn't.
Well, I thought you already did the further review.
But there was no doubt
You
that
brought it
Joe
up.
pinched you on the exit. That's clear as day. But the point is, the problem starts on entry.
Yeah. No, you're right.
was there a new
I,
guy racing Monday?
There's Kyle. Kyle, he's been there for a
Kyle-
few weeks.
He's been there
No,
a few
no.
weeks.
Yeah, no, there's. I don't know. Well, maybe it just sounded different because I was listening to it through the thing. But just before that incident happened, there sounded like someone else's voice speaking to Randy. I don't know. Like he was trying to pass. I think he was trying to lap Randy, and just sounded like someone else's voice. I don't know. It was weird.
No, nobody knew other than Kyle. Kyle's our only newest member.
David, did you get a chance to look at the video? What are your thoughts?
I can't unfortunately look at it because I say my PC will be going crazy trying to look at it. It's basically coming out in potato quality, so I couldn't tell you who was at fault because it's coming out in 144p at the moment.
Do you have your phone nearby?
No, hang on, I got my laptop. Let's have a look and see if I can put it on there.
Dom, I just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to look at this so that you don't get the short end of the stick here.
Yeah. I've already got the short end. It's a majority vote.
It's important to get everybody's opinion.
He loves the short end of the stick, really.
No, I don't want any.
He's just comfortable with that. He's not ready to move on to anything a little bigger.
Yeah.
So.
It was just, man, it was like flashbacks of Bahrain, me choking
It
on
wasn't,
the
See,
it
Dom.
wasn't like that.
See, Dom.
It was-
If you went to the inside, you would have forced Joe to go around the outside.
Which then, in that
You-
case, I would have had no
you
place to
could-
go on the exit of the corner because the way the corner comes around, there's just no
Yeah,
room.
exactly. The roles could have been reversed. Or if you tried to cross over, you would have been on the wrong side of the track going into the right-hander.
I mean, really, the only thing I could have done different is just give you the win. And I mean, you don't want me to just give you the win, Dom. I mean, you caught me on those better tires. You had
Well,
a bit of
Dom gave it to you by lefting the door wide open.
you know, I mean, I was really vulnerable. And
vulnerable right now.
I think, Dom,
Yeah.
if you had gone onto the inside of that corner, which you clearly should have, there could have possibly been an accident, but the accident wouldn't have been your fault. It would have been Joe's.
that's correct. I agree with you 100%. There probably would have been an accident, and it would have been my fault.
So, yeah, I reckon, yeah, you've pussied out of that corner, I'm afraid.
Okay, I've just.
I reject that term because I have recently seen a baby born, first person perspective, And I have to say, the term pussy out, I don't think is fair. Because there's no dick in the world that could do what the pussy does. I mean, let's be fair. We should call it dicking out. Because that dick is so fragile. I mean, hell, a mosquito bite and we'd all be on the ground, right? But I watched that thing transform and a person come out. So...
You wasn't down that end, was you?
What's that?
You wasn't down that end, was you?
Oh, yeah, I was, Jamie. I was right there. I saw the whole thing. Yeah,
no,
I did
weren't.
it. Swear to God.
No, you wasn't. No, mate.
Listen to me. It was going to be the one and only time.
Go down the viewing gallery, mate.
I was there. I watched the whole thing. So she had been in labor for like 3 days. So at this point, fuck it. I'm sticking around for the whole show.
If I went down that end, I'd never go near another one again.
Well, it changes your perspective a little bit about, pain tolerance and the term Dom pussied out. If Dom pussied out, he would have made the right choice and he would have just toughened up. I think Dom dicked out. Because again, I'm telling you right now, Jamie, I slide an 8-pound woman out of your penis, it's wrecked. Now, we don't need any medical Monday to agree on that. I watched that lady slide out of there. Well, it took a long time. Man, that was effing brutal. So in conclusion, I don't know. You asked the chat.
We need to ask Dave. I think, Dave, did you have a look at it?
I did have a look at the evidence, and I
talk about my wife's birth
come
giving or...
Yeah, Joe sent him a tape of the birth. Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion.
Anyway, Dave,
yes,
get your
you did
input
dick
of the
out.
race.
I did dick out of it.
Yeah, you should have just take him off. Just take him out. Just think all the time, Russia 2016. That's what you got to think of, Dom, all the time. Russia 2016. Just think of how much emotional problems I've given to that man after that race, and you just do it. Just do it, Dom. Just do it, because it's great. It really is.
Honestly, that's a good point, Dave. Maybe I should just do something so catastrophic that it just plants a seed in the back of his head.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like I need to drive a little bit differently now when I'm around him, kind of thing.
Well, the problem with planting a seed, Dom, is you got to really understand the type of garden you're planting it in. Not all seeds grow the same way, and you got to be careful when you're gardening with people's minds because you just don't know who you're dealing with. It might not be a good idea to plant seeds, Dom. I don't think you're a gardener type. I would just, next time consider the angle of the corner and the exit of the corner, and think to yourself, Joe's not just gonna give up, right? That's fair enough. Joe's not gonna give up. If all my tires were off, I'd still be trying. And going forward, different choice perhaps. But Jamie was right. If you had taken the inside, I absolutely would have sent it to the outside. 100%. It's impossible for me to lay over. So, I thought it was a good race. I mean,
Who come third on Monday?
Josh.
Oh, no.
Nick was running third, but Nick was really hustling it, and I think he wiped out on one of the curves or something.
But yeah, Joe, exactly. You would have went to the outside if Dom went to the left and the inside, and then you would have probably tried to cross under the crossover on the exit.
Yep.
And you would have been on the wrong side for the right-hander on the next corner. So.
Yep. And what I would have probably tried to do is position my car in a way where he's not going to have the ability to get the car straight enough to get the throttle down and just hope to drag him off the corner. But he would have had an upper hand just because the way the corner is shaped, I wouldn't have had any road to work with.
He was on fresher tires.
And he was on fresher reds, and I had used whites. But there's a race I'd like to show you guys as well. Dom, do you have the Bahrain race where you had your fuel issue? I'd like to show the guys that pass you tried to make, and you ask them what they think about it.
Yeah,
because
hold on.
You had some concerns about my passing, and
I've seen that before. To be fair,
and I just want to make sure that I'm not a hypocrite. That's all.
I've seen the Bahrain one before.
I don't remember that one.
How
long ago was that?
Just give me a sec.
That was it was in 2016. That was
Yeah.
That was an interesting
Well,
pass attempt.
It was
2016,
F1
I was
2016.
not part of the ERL at that point.
Hey Joe, pop quiz. Do you remember what month and what year the race happened?
No.
Okay, it was April 24th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Because
I'm on this-
I joined the ERL in 2019.
Hold on. I'm on the final lap here. I'm going to share a screen shortly. Okay, this is a good spot. Let me know.
Are you putting it in the chat?
Let me know if you guys can see my screen right now.
Yeah, they get to shut your video off first. Oh, now we can see it. Yep.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, full screen.
All right.
Hold
You
on.
got that video, Dave? Can you see that?
I can see it, yeah.
I
Now,
want to draw the comparison between what I did to Dom and Dom's attempt at a pass here, and then see if there's any similarities.
Sorry if the video is choppy. Okay, so Joe gets a bit of a squirrely exit.
It's real choppy.
It's real choppy? Okay.
I can see it just about enough. We'll see. I can see it enough at the
Yeah, you
moment.
can see it just about.
I'm in the lead.
I see it enough to see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send the link anyways.
The thing about the video is funny though. You said something right before you made that pass, almost like an admission of guilt. And I think that's an important bit of evidence I'd like everyone to have a thought about.
Yeah.
What did you say before you decided to do that move?
I said,
He said, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!"
I don't. It might have been, but I don't think it was that. I think it was a little different phrase he chose to use, almost like I said, admission of guilt. And well, certainly
yeah,
makes
if you click on the link that I sent you and you go to what's the timestamp here? Uh, 109:12, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 12 seconds. It gives you a good idea of, well, I'll just quote myself. I said, "Oh no, Joe, I gotta, sorry."
Oh my god, man.
You have to remember in 2016, I was still getting to grips with the game.
I'm still in puberty.
And I wasn't as quick, and this had been the closest I had been to Joe in a league race ever. Like ever. And so I was like, this is a once a year opportunity. Like I have to send it.
Sorry, I walked off for a sec there, Dom. Did you say it's Christmas time? What, once a year? What happened?
I was telling the guys that in F1 2016, the game,
Yeah,
I wasn't nearly as consistent or as quick as you were. And so the fact that I was so close, it was like a once a year opportunity.
It meant you should just drive me off the road.
I could not pass up the opportunity. Like there, if I wanted to win once, there was
Joe,
no
the
other
good thing
option.
is you still won on that dive bomb.
Yeah,
That should have
what it
never
was-
happened.
It was crazy. He ran out of gas, and then I ran out of gas. I ran out of gas a half a second after him. And, I mean, you got to feel for the guy because it's almost scripted at that point. Like, he's out of gas, and I'm out of gas. But I was out of gas, and I was going a little bit faster, so we both just – and then the fireworks and –
The fireworks.
That's tough.
Man.
What are your thoughts, Dave, on all this? Do you really feel like you feel like
What are you doing now, Joe?
just racing, Dave?
Yeah, just racing. Anyway, we've got so many comments in the chat. It's unbelievable. So I better get through some of them while I get your complaints. We've We've got JW97 saying Susan's about to take the stream down. Now that's in reference to the boss of YouTube, of course. That Susan, I can't remember her second name, Susan Wischtowski. Yeah, she probably will do, but it'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be okay. As long as Joe doesn't take his shirt off again, otherwise we could be in serious trouble. Serious trouble.
She probably stuck their finger in herself over it.
Oh,
Yeah, Dave,
Jamie, no.
I don't think there's anything wrong with my shirt being off. I mean, it could be like a workout video. I mean, it's not like I dropped my pants, Dave. You know what I mean?
He also says subscribe to Joe's OnlyFans. Yeah, I expect he's got one. And he says, oh my God, Joe has eyes. Yes, he has. And they're not red.
Of course I do.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. They're hazel colored.
Poochie Head says, spot on, F1 Manager is going to suck us into hours we didn't know we had. Yeah, I quite agree. Real gamers wake up early to play F1 Manager all day.
True story.
True story. JW97 says, good at making a game, really, Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, we'll have to take points off for Star Wars Battlefront there, JB, because I have played that myself and that was atrocious. Star
Wars Battlefront was an awful game, and again, they'd only just taken over that franchise. It was their first. They didn't make the first one, did they? The first one was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about the PS4 versions, right?
Yeah.
I love the first Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront 2 was awful, but the PS2 version back in the days, like the original one, was amazing.
I mean, I like the first one that came out on PS4, like not the PS4 versions. The first Battlefront was good. I didn't care for the second one.
Matthew says,
now, when you guys are talking about EA and the F1 series, I mean, I think more of the business stuff is going to come down to like silly little add-ons they put to the game and different microtransaction setups. But I mean, the game is still developed by the same studio. You know, I mean, it's the same fundamental thing. I mean, the only thing that I think would be different is that EA would request maybe certain things here or there, but for the most part, it's not like an EA owned studio is really doing it. They bought the studio, you know, and I wouldn't expect anything to be significantly different unless EA was like, you know, hey, you got to use our particular game engine that we used for Need for Speed or whatever it was. And in that case, then you could start to blame EA for it. But I mean, when you think about it, right? What's the difference between the group of guys making the game this year versus 6-7 years ago? I mean, it's the same guys, same handling guy, same physics guy, same lead designer. I mean,
it's like when Lawrence Stroll bought
the same guys as last year, because last year's one was absolutely awful.
Well, the choices that they made weren't the greatest, but it is the same people, and it's the same people with that said that did 19 and 18 and 17, and was last year's game horrible? I don't think it was horrible. It was just 20 was preferable for the type of league racing we do. But as a standalone game, if I didn't know any better, I would thought 21 was great. I mean, so I wouldn't think that that you're going to see a huge drop off with the EA thing. They just acquired a studio. I mean, it's just like other acquisitions. Their goal is to probably funnel as little money into it as possible after buying the studio to make money. So it's not like they're going to go in and say, hey, you know, change around everything, and because that's time and money, and they're just trying to profit from them, you know.
Well, I think
but yeah, that's another thing with EA that you mentioned, Joe. Microtransactions. They're known for being ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's something I can see added into the games. And you know,
what are they going to do for microtransactions? Make you spend $20 for 10,000 R&D points in career mode?
Well, exactly right, or more likely the silly implementation of like winning race suits or the little decorations, the kind of things that me personally, I can't imagine ever spending money on. But you know, I know Rocket League made an absolute fortune with that sort of thing, and I guess there's a certain age group that are really drawn into that, and
Oh yeah, like loop-ins and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, that does
Draws in a
nothing
lot
for
of
me.
money.
But I have a friend of mine, Tom. Jamie knows him. Dom knows him. If he has friends that play Destiny and they spend money on this, and if that's what makes them happy, but I could see EA adding microtransactions to anything they can get their hands on.
Joe, I used to play Destiny with Tom all the time. The first one before I had a child and had time to grind out that game every day. But the game is free, so you're paying bits and pieces, but you're not paying lots. You know what I mean? You're not paying for.
Yeah, that's an interesting pricing strategy. So, which I think is probably going to be more likely the future of most games, because you get the game free, then your install base is massive, and when you think about what they make off of an actual physical or digital copy, it's nothing, especially with a PlayStation game. It's already discounted 50% in 3 months, the majority of them. It's not like Nintendo, where they keep their price. So if you really want to make money off your game, I mean, if I was to release a game and wanted to make money, that game would be free, straight off the bat, free. And then there would be ways to buy things within the game. And even if, say, for example, you sell 500,000 copies of a game at $60, all right, that's one profit. Or you can get the game into 6-7 million PlayStations and make $15-20 off of the majority of people. You can make a lot more money. And the end user feels like they spent less. So I'd rather get the game into more hands, and then the microtransactions doesn't have to be a bad thing. I remember when I was in college, sometimes I would, like, back in the, 2012, 2013 era, you could buy for like $5-6 the pass that gave you all the cars in, like, say, Dirt 2 or something. I used to like that, so instead of having to sit there and play the whole game, which I would play the game anyways, I could get everything straight away, and that didn't bother me. It was my $5. I felt like, I'll spend that. I don't mind that so much, but I guess it just depends on how they implement it. I don't like to see, it wouldn't be good if they designed it around. It wouldn't be good if they designed it around the idea that you're better at, like, the online sessions if you buy this and that. I don't, because then that kind of plays into the whole gambling thing with kids, and I don't like that. And I don't want to see a 10-year-old feel like, I got to borrow mom's credit card to get, so that I can be good at this game. That's taking advantage of people. That's not cool. But there are certain situations where I think it can be a good thing. I would have gladly, paid for plenty of things in these F1 games if they could post-game develop it. I told Dave last year they shouldn't even do a yearly release. They should do it just like the majority of decent sim racing games have. Formula One, and then you have add-ons and DLC for it, and you're building your base, increasing your base over and over again. I mean, if iRacing released a new thing you had to purchase every 12 months, you're risking that you're going to lose a percentage of your base every time and have to rebuild it again before the next thing comes out. It goes round and round in a circle. I mean, you look at how many people have bought an F1 game since 2010. Had they stayed with that and then just continued to update it through the PlayStation ecosystem and the Xbox and all that, think about how many people would have essentially the ability for $20 to get the 22 DLC. You're talking 10 times as much as available to go buy the new game now.
Yeah.
Seems simple enough to me, but I don't work for EA. I work for Dave. You want me to take the shirt off again, Dave?
Well, Pooty in the comments says, "Oh yes, this is what we live for." So I think, because the messages were a bit behind that I'm reading out, I think that was in reference to you taking your shirt off. Now we got a question. I do apologise to everyone in the chat. I haven't got time to read all these messages out because there's quite a few of them. So I'm just going to have to go through and summarise some of them.
Dave, so just do it, man. We're here all night.
So I got a question for Dom from Mr. Pootyhead, and he says, Dom, rank your favourite: Gilles Villeneuve, Jacques Villeneuve, Robert Wickens, Nutella Latifi or Nonce Stroll?
Forgive me
Don
for interjecting.
or
Forgive me
Dominic?
for interjecting here. How does
Dominic.
Dom have fans?
I'm at a loss.
And the fact that Dom knows nothing about Formula One.
Yeah, Poochie
Well-
Head. What's it going to take? You know,
Two of those people,
I'll-
Dom don't even know who they are. It's the first time that
well,
he's ever.
I know who Villeneuve is, but
who is he, Dom? Enlighten us.
there's Jacques Villeneuve, who won
Yeah,
the
so you just said his name in an
1997.
accent.
I hate that motherfucker.
All right, go
He
ahead.
won the 1997 championship. It was Jerez, I believe, in France.
Did you
Was
just-
the track?
Did you just Google that, Dom?
No, I'm doing this off memory. I swear.
Okay, yeah, all right. No, that's great. That's great. What team did
Past
he drive
Michael
for?
Schumacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the lead,
Uh-huh.
and Schumi tried to steer into him, but
what
didn't
team
work
did he
out.
drive for, Dom?
Williams.
Williams. Okay, that's great. It's really good.
Thank you.
What did he do after his F1 career?
What did he do after? I don't know. Make shitty internet posts. Like, I don't know what he did.
Do you know what he did before F1?
Before F1? Probably karting.
Oh, there was another series he ran in. He won a big race before he did F1.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a racing fan. I'm sorry. I'm a plastic fan. But
Jam
I'd rank
car.
him number one, Bucci Head. I'd rank. Who were the other options, Dave? The options 2 and 3.
Jules Villeneuve, Jack Villeneuve, Robert Wickens,
Yeah. So Gilles first, Jacques second.
Robert Wickens, Latifi, or Stroll.
Yeah. Then Wickens third, Stroll fourth, Latifi fifth.
Poor Latifi.
Just in that order. Yeah.
Matthew says,
That's cool.
That's all I have.
I mean, Latifi's clear as day the dead last out of the group.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Coming in.
What do all those drivers have in common, Dom?
They're all Canadian, Joe.
Okay.
Matthew says, being a Dominic Orlando fan is nearly as hard as being a Daniel Ricciardo fan. Always so close, but so far. And Poochie Head asks, does Joe race with no clothes on?
Define no clothes.
Naked.
Why do you need to define it?
Do you drive
Well,
naked?
Subjective. If you went to a wedding and you were just wearing shorts and a tank top, someone say, "Oh, put some clothes on," right? But you are wearing clothes, so it's subjective. Go ahead, Dave. Naked?
Naked. Do you drive naked?
No, I do not. I do not like the feeling of my bare buns on my leather seat.
So basically, he has pants and socks on.
I have shorts and special underwear that fits a certain way. I have a certain pair of socks, a brand that I like to wear that very comfortable for me to move on the pedals. And trying to think if there's anything else important about the outfit. Got to make sure the t-shirt is the right length, not too short, not too long. Otherwise, that's about it. I do a little foot massage before the race, but that's probably the same for everyone.
Next question, Dave.
Matthew says, Dom has the pace and strategy to win a title, but I think Joe has the edge will to will.
Well, as you can see, just Dom can't close the deal. He had Vietnam won by a simple move, and he screwed it up.
I think my downfall, Dave, is that I personally don't like using the alternate strategy, because I like qualifying so much, and in order to go for the alternate strategy, you basically can't win pole position. So, it's tough because the alternate strategy is usually fairly powerful in these games, and I recognize that the Dom does a great job with those strategies, but I don't know if you call it ego or whatever, but I just want to win the pole position and the race, and I can't do that with the alternate strategy. It's just I know it doesn't bother Dom to run the alternate, but it does bother me quite a bit. That you'll see it when I do the qualifying. I'll put up a lap that is probably going to do it, but then I got to go beat that lap, even if everyone's done, because I just want to do a little bit better. Qualifying's just a big deal for me. I admire Dom's ability to not concern himself with the small battle and focus on the bigger picture, which is, I mean, shit, the strategy he ran Monday, if I had to take a guess, had to be at least 10 seconds faster than the one I used. You know, I know, and Dom, no offense to you, but I was fairly confident that I was quicker, probably a quarter of a second over the course of a lap
At Vietnam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But your strategy was better, but in order to run that strategy, I would have lost the pole position, and it's just, you know.
I don't think it's. I know. Well, he hasn't had really any issues from what I can remember, but it's a risk as well, having to try to come through the field. Or like if you're starting fourth or fifth, it is a risk trying to, obviously, especially at the start of the race when you're tucked in, like going into the first corner. If you're tucked in the middle, you got Dave flying up behind you.
Yeah, there's a small risk to it, but I think what's interesting about the skill set in the league is that you can, if you're the kind of driver that can be within, I don't know, 3 or 4 tenths of the fastest time in qualifying. So, you know, let's say Nick, for example. Nick can run the alternate strategy and still qualify on row 2. And that row 2 is fairly safe. It's when you go to a track like, say, Austria, where everyone is competitive. Dom's alternate strategy might put him back 7th or 8th. And then in that case, I don't want to say it makes it more of an even competition, but it makes it where it's certainly a little bit more, you kind of respect that effort to come up from 7th, but if you're starting 3rd on the alternate strategy, that's always tough, because it's just an easy path to, you know, to having that extra whatever. What usually works out to about 10 or 15 seconds faster, I think, the alternate strategy in most races. But with that said, I don't agree with necessarily the criticism that it's a cheap win, because it's not. It's a legitimate. It's part of the rules. Everyone can do it. I can do it. I just don't want to sacrifice qualifying. If we could qualify and start on any tire we want, that would be a different story. Then it'd be a no-brainer. I would have started on the hards on Monday, I think. What do you think, Dom?
The hards would have been tough for the first, like, 5-10 laps, but
I think with the pace that you know, if qualifying could be done on any tire you want and you can start on any tire, I mean, I think I could have put it on pole position. I think I had a pace advantage. I had a good rhythm, and I think I would have got passed by a couple cars, but before the end of
I think it's a good strategy. The hards are slippery at Vietnam, but yeah, I think if you drove it carefully and smooth, it could work out better than like my medium soft strategy potentially. I think the mediums were the best tire to be on in general.
I bet the hard to soft would have annihilated it. The last few laps you were on those mediums, the lap times
they were slow. Yeah,
they were atrocious. And I mean, being on the hards, you would have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds faster just in that 4-lap window there before the pit stop. So even if I was 3 seconds behind you, you know, lap 14 or so, 15, you would have been overtaken before your pit stop, because you were practically overtaken, and then I was 7 or 8 seconds behind you. Dom, I feel like this story about the strategy sounds like I'm picking on you. I'm not picking on you.
What's the next comment, Dave?
Yep.
Right, well, thanks to JW97, I have checked my Twitter, and yes, very interesting thumbnail. Well, this one's for you, Dom. Now, hopefully, your head's not going to explode with this comment, but it's from
This is
Matt.
unbelievable.
It's from Matt, and it says, "Actually, really enjoy watching the majority of Dom's races back. Always entertaining and good action."
Thanks, Matty D. I really appreciate that.
I'm back.
What kind of action you looking for, Matty D?
Any action. You don't stream shit. I think your races are interesting too, Joe. But you never broadcast your point of view because you're always so secretive about, your inputs.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So that's not entirely untrue. I'm relatively secretive about what I'm doing, but only because, a man's art is to be interpreted by the viewer, but not necessarily taught to the viewer. With that said, I don't think my races would be nearly as interesting as perhaps yours, Dom, just because I have a tendency to do the same thing every time. I try to qualify first, and then I drive alone. And then if you don't come barreling ass up behind me at some point, then it's pretty smooth sailing. So, I mean, I think anyone would agree there's not much to see in my races for the most part. I like to stare at open track, and I don't think it would be as exciting. But if Matt's looking for a thrill, I mean, I've got other skills.
Oh God, where's this going, Joe?
I don't know. Let's see.
Anyway, Dom, JW97 says, "Speaking of Jack Villeneuve, he's one of the 3 new icons for my team. So finally, you'll be able to drive as a Canadian. That's pretty good."
I drive as a Canadian every Monday.
Yeah.
Notice he said as a Canadian.
Yeah, and he also said that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact: I have a Canadian last name, French Canadian last name actually. Dom. Is Orlando a Canadian name?
No, it's actually Italian.
Oh, that's weird. Because I think my family lived in Canada for generations and generations until they moved to Boston.
My mom lived in Canada for generations and generations. Well, not my mom, but my mom's ancestors lived in Canada for a long time. So
I just thought it was funny, Dave, that when him and I are together in the winter, I have a higher cold tolerance than he does. Almost like I'm the real Canadian and Don's
just
the
genetics.
pretender.
Just
genetics. Yeah, genetics are a product of your environment and mixed in with all those other things. I mean, the people that live in cold environments through generational situations, they tend to be more adapted to it. Where you growing up in the Italian hills over there.
Italian
hills. We're getting off topic, Dave. But listen, if you could ask the viewers, Dave, what's it going to take for me to get some fans? I don't want to be the villain. I want to make fans.
I think you need to take your shirt off.
Talk to the group. Talk to the fans.
Well,
what are they?
They can hear me, Joe. They can hear me. So if they haven't all fallen asleep by now, which I think they probably have, they'll come back in a minute. Just give them time.
I feel like a piece of meat at that point. Like I have feelings. I'm a man. I'm not just here to dance. I'll dance. I'll dance if that's what I got to do. But I'm not. There's more to me than that. It's a lot more to me. I like birds. I like to look at the sunset. Sometimes I drive alone in my car and listen to love songs. There's a lot here,
Moving on.
Anyway, what's your guys' opinion of Baku this weekend? Change it up.
About who?
About what this weekend?
Baku.
Oh, Baku.
Oh, Baku.
Azerbaijan.
Stick it up. I think it's going to be great. It has been great for the past 3 or 4 years, apart from the first race when it was boring. But ever since then, it's been brilliant.
I think Red Bull are going to
because of the long straight. I think Red Bull has the advantage this weekend. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think Sergio's going to go back to back.
I'll tell you, it will be better this weekend because of the straights. If they manage to sort out their porpoising, Well, not necessarily Hamilton, but I think George Russell will get on the podium this weekend.
It's a pretty solid
I,
prediction.
I'm hoping it's a DNF for Max Verstappen
Me too.
and Perez. Screw Red Bull.
Remember
I will never support Red Bull in my
massive-
life.
I wonder if, like last year, they had the massive issue with the tyre wear, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that could make it interesting, but I'd imagine that that's sorted out now.
Yeah.
And then if
I
there's
would be happy if my daughter's favorite driver won this weekend.
Lewis Hamilton.
Carlos Sainz. She just seems to smile at the red cars. So,
it's not going to happen, unfortunately, this weekend.
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Jamie. I got to watch the race, but I mean,
I think it's very, very good in corners, but just haven't got the top speed, straight line speed, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like Mercedes took a step up in Spain a couple races ago, but they looked like lost in the woods in Monaco again.
Poor Lulu.
Yeah, I think George will be all right this week. If there's a moment that makes Mark Webber on commentary go again, that'd be quite funny.
Yeah, it will be.
We need one of them moments.
We do.
I couldn't believe Lewis did that last year. He had the race won and he threw it away.
Poor Lulu.
yeah, I felt bad for him when that happened. That was a shitty deal. I could see myself making that exact same mistake.
I didn't feel bad for him.
I actually, after the way Lewis Hamilton handled the final race of the year, didn't bash it, didn't have a temper tantrum, just kind of disappeared. I respect him. I don't necessarily agree with everything he does in terms of his lifestyle, but I don't have to. I can still like the guy and disagree with a lot of the things that he happens to, but the person there seemed to make sense to me, I gained some respect for him after that last
I
race.
will say Lewis handled
He got
it
fucked.
real well. But let's not talk about Abu Dhabi about last year because that shit's still pissing me off. Losing a championship like that.
It was a shitty deal. It was a shitty deal, but in a way, I respect him because of that race. Had it not played out that way, I don't know. My opinion would probably still be take it or leave it with him. But he earned my respect, and now I kind of rooting for him. Which I guess there's but there's a lot of people like that now.
Problem is, they got rid of the man who allegedly was responsible for all of that, and now, ever since this new season's come out, the decisions just seem to be really, really slow. Really slow. The way they're making decisions about what's going on, it's just, I don't get it. And yet now there's 3 of them doing one man's job that he was doing last year. There's now 3 of them, and yet the decisions are just painfully slow.
All I'll say to that is I don't envy their position at all. It'd be very tough to be a race director.
Trouble is,
I don't think it has to be tough. I think
Trouble
if you
is-
write the rules in such a way and you're consistent to the rules, and write the literature in such a way where the guy doesn't have to make a ball or strike call. He can make very simply when the cars go outside of a certain point, time is disallowed in qualifying. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think that they can make things easier, and it would be better for the fans too if the fans weren't trying to figure out if, I don't know. Every time there's contact with 2 cars in F1, there's like almost a debate whether they're going to get a penalty or not. Would the sport really go to shit if all of a sudden you just didn't do that? I mean, if these guys in these cars, it's just no penalty. I mean, are they all just going to destroy their cars like it's some sort of NASCAR destruction derby? I don't think so. It's not beneficial to anyone. So I hate seeing time penalties for avoidable collision and stuff like that. I mean, because then it is because what if you look at Monday's race with Dom and I? Would I have gotten a penalty for avoidable collision? I was racing him. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Today marks the anniversary of Vettel losing the Canadian Grand Prix because of a time penalty,
It's silly. I mean,
which
just-
he
just run the
rightfully
race.
deserved.
Just run the race, and
I think like the way like you're correcting what you're saying is like I say, every time there's a slight bit of contact or slight incident, it comes up on the screen. Our stewards investigating incident between car 1 and 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is ridiculous, and I know not all the time it ends up in a penalty, but like you say, just let them race. Like
Right,
if
it's not like
those two
penalties change it.
cars are
Yeah.
still on the track and they're still going, then it doesn't matter, you know.
Unless
Not
you're
everything,
Ocon at Monaco, that
not
rightfully
not
deserved that time.
not everything in football, not every bit of contact is a foul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get on with it. Like if the two guys get up and they're fine and they're carrying on, like it doesn't matter.
Even if they're not carrying on, I mean, the way I see it is, if it's not to any driver's benefit to do something so ridiculous that, you know, to gain something on the track. I mean, look at Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen last year. That could just as easily have crashed both the cars. He didn't mean to do that. Just because Verstappen was in the accident, I don't think that means Lewis should get a penalty for that. It was racing. I mean, I would have done the same thing he did, and I would have done the same thing Verstappen did. So, I mean, there's no need for a penalty. I mean, it's the easiest way to look at it is, do any of these penalties, do they prevent the guys from making the same moves the next week? No, it doesn't deter anything. It just adds to the vague, you know, ambiguity of all things. Yas Marina, when the last race of the season, that stupid scenario where they had Lewis Hamilton slowing down a little bit or whatever it was because he cut the corner because Verstappen pushed him off. I mean, that looked silly on the TV. It looked like amateur stuff, like a dad trying to get his two sons to not get in a fist fight. You know, I'll give you half a cookie, I'll give you half a cookie, and
Are you talking about the lap 1 incident?
Yeah. Just let it go. I mean, within reason. I mean, I think it's even that you can look at that replay and say, okay, well, Verstappen took all the track. There was no place for Hamilton to go, so he drove off of it. It's not like Hamilton did it on purpose. He would have probably liked to have stayed on the track, but Verstappen decided to use it. That's just the way it is. That's why you have a runoff, so you don't crash. But it wasn't like, I don't think Hamilton went into that braking zone thinking, I'm going to cut this corner. I think he got to the point where he had to decide whether I'm going to crash or go through this gap. And then watching them try to decide about whether he should get a penalty, if he slowed down enough. I mean, that's all Netflix crap.
Yeah.
Dom, what are you looking at on your phone?
He's been a
Sorry,
typical 20-something bloke, isn't he? As soon as I get bored, they automatically start looking at their phone. Look, he's smiling because he knows as well. Look.
No, you called me out. Yeah, I was just scrolling on Facebook.
Matthew asked, will Russell finish ahead of Hamilton this season? Yes.
Without doubt. And I called it. Can I just say I called it before he even joined the team. So I called it last season that Russell will be a pain in Hamilton's side, and that, well, I basically said he'll be another Rosberg for him, and it's true. And you can tell that Toto.
And part of it's fucking bad luck too. I mean, look at Spain. I mean, the lap 1 incident. Hamilton was clearly had the better pace overall. Look at Imola. Getting screwed on pit road because of the unsafe release by Ocon, and then he was stuck behind Gasly the whole rest of the race.
But Mercedes ain't going to come out and say it, but they are now all about George Russell. Toto absolutely loves George Russell. He has done everything in his power to get him into that team. He's like his adopted son. He doesn't care.
Part of that, Jamie, is the fact that Hamilton's 37 years old and there's only so much.
Yeah, it is. But you can also see how much Toto loves George. There is part of that as well. Like you say,
Sure.
Lewis is 37. George Russell's the future of that team, and that's how he will. It doesn't matter. the thing is, no matter what they come out on TV and say or whatever, like F1's a business and it's a brutal business. Toto does not care that Lewis has won 7 world championships. What he cares about is that George Russell's going to win the next one.
I still think Lewis Hamilton's a better driver. I just think the car suits Russell better. I think Russell's close enough to Hamilton's skill set.
Yeah, and why does it
suits him better? I mean,
why does it suit him better? Because they've engineered that car to suit him better.
I mean, that would be remarkably convenient, but I find that particular sentiment difficult to accept, Jamie, because for them to be good enough to engineer the car to suit his driving style,
they would not be the only team.
They have enough skill to fine tune it, and then that would be kind of working against this idea of the whole porpoising thing and other issues, where you'd think if they were good enough to design the car to suit their new driver, who they have limited data on, that would be, well, then maybe they should have been able to solve some of the other aerodynamic issues. But I just think that if the car is, say for example, I don't know what the handling situation is, but perhaps the car is more understeer prone on corner apex. Perhaps the way that Russell uses the throttle to rotate the car is different than the way Hamilton did, and until they kind of find a balance, I mean, look, for example, I mean, you look at Vettel and Stroll. There's no way Stroll's a better driver than Vettel, but sometimes the setup and the car suit Stroll so that he can get a better result. But you'd never convince me that he's a faster driver. You could take anybody in the ERL, and if you give, for example, John and I, most of you know John. Yeah, actually, all of you do. John has an alarmingly different style than me, and there would be times where in F1 2010 the car would suit him better, and he was quicker. Overall, I think I was a little bit quicker than him, but when the car, he tended to like understeer on corner entry. I tend to like oversteer on corner entry, and if the car was understeering on corner entry, that is not my strong suit. I like to use the throttle to turn the car. He likes to use the brakes to turn the car, kind of thing. So, but I think Hamilton's a better driver. They get that car sorted out. I wouldn't be surprised if he could come back and do well.
He is a better driver, but they wouldn't be the first team to design a car to sort of slightly suit one driver.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that ideology. My only thing is, I don't know how much data they would have had on Russell that they could use to design that car. Because when they started working on the
they done a hell of a. It ain't like he just turned up at the team at the start of this year.
No, certainly not.
Met him before. They done a lot of work with him throughout.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. But they probably started working on that 22 car back in 2020. And you look at the beginning stages of development being very crucial in that car. How much data they have on Russell then versus how much data do they have on him now? It's more like the way I look at it is the car that McLaren has is designed around Lando Norris, which is why Ricciardo's struggling. But Lando has been there for years and years and years and years. So I would, if anything, I would expect the car to continue to be designed for Russell going forward. That would make sense. I think Russell's done a good job with it. It's obviously, for whatever reason, suiting him well. And they had him in that car for one race, and they've obviously got the data from Williams, but I don't know how much that can help. And they probably put him in older chassis, but
I think throughout last season, when there wasn't racing, he actually spent a lot of time at Mercedes in their simulator and things like.
Yeah, and that's true. And that they could have seen certain things there, certain things to design the car around. But I would say, if anything, if it continues the way it's been continuing, I think they'll design the car even more so around what they think he's going to need for 23. And you'll see Hamilton kind of, be left aside a bit, which, that's just the business. I mean, they're not here to babysit.
Unfortunately, I think at most you got one more year for Lewis.
Yeah.
It just sucks. He's probably not gonna have that 8th championship.
I even heard a rumor the other day that Gasly will be taking Lewis's place when he goes.
They should get Ricciardo.
No.
No. I mean, technically, Lewis should already have 8 championships.
I mean, I don't like Mercedes particularly, but I wouldn't wish Danny Ricciardo upon them.
I don't mind Mercedes. I could see myself working for Toto Wolff. I would rather work for him than Christian Horner.
Thank you, Buck Horner. I can't stand that prick.
I would have liked working for that guy at Renault a couple of years ago. What the hell was his name? He seemed like a cool dude. He retired, or left. Cyril Abitable.
Cyril
Like
Abitbol.
Yeah, Cyril was brilliant, yeah.
But if I had my choice, I'd be happy working for that Gunther Steiner guy too. He's pretty cool. Everyone loves him.
Gunther Steiner.
I was literally just about to say, if you're going to work for anyone, work for Gunther.
Yeah, that would be. They should get him to do some voiceover stuff for 23 or F122. That would be a hit with the fans. Everyone loves him after the Netflix show. Did you watch the Netflix show, Dom?
I only watched the first episode of the first season, then I decided it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Honestly.
When you turned it off, what did you decide was for you?
It just, I don't know. It just wasn't fun to watch. Like I don't know. I'm not a Netflix guy. I didn't enjoy it.
You're just not an F1 guy. I don't know. You're just like the biggest imposter in ERL. Like literally.
When you talking about that F1 Drive to Survive or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dom,
I don't care. Dom, on that, I don't care for that show either. I don't really watch it either.
Did you watch more than one episode, Don?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, Don?
I don't care. I lost interest in it. I don't care for it.
I watched all the first episode and I watched 10 minutes of the second episode, and then I was like, yeah, this isn't.
I like how he words that. Did you notice that? I watched all of the first episode. Like that's an all-encompassing way of gauging the that's like I watched the opening scene of a James Bond flick, and I don't know, it's not for me. I mean, I got.
Anyways, gentlemen, actually, I do have to get off and head out, grab some dinner. Then I'm.
Me too.
So
just before you go, Dom,
JW9.
Just before you go, Dom, JW97 says rumours are surfacing that Nicholas Latifi is going to be dropped at the end of the season in favour of Oscar Pistorio, who's expected to be loaned out by Alpine. So you're going to be one Canadian driver down.
Is it Oscar Pistorio, the guy with killed his wife?
It's not like We'll Be Sad by Latifi being gone, Dave.
You know what I'm talking about? Isn't that the guy who killed his wife? He's got no legs. They're like spring legs.
What are you talking about?
Oscar Pistoria, isn't he the guy with the spring legs? And
he's the South African disabled runner.
Yeah.
Oscar Pistorius.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking.
Wait,
Dave, is that who you said?
Well, no, clearly not. You can't drive an F1 car with, no offense to him, spring sticks, whatever they are. I mean, I don't know. Hand control. Who's saying? We're not talking the same guy.
Jamie,
you can't kill your wife.
So I'm gonna Dave, Dom, and obviously you, Joe. I'm gonna get Jamie's input because he wasn't on League Race, and it's about when we go to the new game or next season or whatever F120. I say, because you know how I always mess with Joe about putting shit. Fuck this track. Stop putting shit tracks on the schedule.
Yeah, but there's only 24 tracks, and you hate 23.
But here's one. I think one season we should definitely run the full calendar.
So there's a lot of good to that idea.
I think the issue with that is I mean, I wish it wasn't like that, but the gap between like the front.
That's the problem.
The point gap is just like, but after 10 races, it's too unattainable for anyone.
It would take the fun out of it, I think, for anyone who cares about where they are in the points, because like Jamie's saying, I'll give you a good example. If the season were 20 something races, and you get out to a huge lead over all your contemporaries. That's kind of why I always settled around that 10 race season thing, is because even for me, if I've got a huge points lead, well, it's not as exciting. You're not as challenged, and it does spread out, and that's the only downside to it, because otherwise getting all the tracks on there kind of solves that problem. But I think going forward, I can do a better job of trying to
even though, Joe, most of the time when I say fuck this track, shit track,
the only
it's
difference,
me just busting on you.
Yeah,
the
no,
only
I know.
difference I would agree to on that is that basically like season 1, you run the first 10 tracks in the calendar in the same order. Season 2, you do the second 10 tracks or 12 tracks, whatever. So like 12 and 12, and you just run them in order. Do one season.
Or with 23 tracks, do an 11 race season and a 12 race season if you want to do that, so you don't have no duplicates. Because I assume F122 is going to have 23 tracks.
I heard it was actually going to have more tracks than that. I had heard a rumor that there were a lot of tracks that were going to be put in the game. That I heard they were going to have Hockenheim. It's in the files, and
Yeah, I hope they.
I would
probably have to
Joe.
pay,
I would be
pay
love to do a
20 quid for it.
LERL race there again at Hockenheim.
Yeah, I think that would be a
That's
fan
one of my
favorite.
favorites.
yeah, everyone loves Hockenheim.
We've got
If they've got Hockenheim, fantastic. But I think that'll be one of them tracks that you'll have to pay for, like a download pack, where they'll give you.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's possible, but I wonder
they'll
if
probably
like
give you
most
some
games,
classic cars plus the track, and it cost you like $15.
yeah. But if it's anything like a lot of the other games I've played, and this may not apply to all of them, but if the host has the content, then the guys invited get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens with games, and I mean, I would obviously be happy to do that. I think having more tracks to choose from is always a good thing. Yeah, I mean, all right, Dave, do you want to wrap this up?
I've got a late
Is that
addition.
girl-
I've
is that
got a
girl
late
back, or
addition
did
to
I
the
lose
chat.
my only fan?
It's from the Moaning Yorkshireman, and he says, "I want a full season. People could miss a race or two, and then you can still be in with a chance." There you go. Right, I've got to end it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I've even got people in the chat complaining because we're going on too long.
Yeah, Dave, we're like, you usually wrap this up an
I know,
hour,
I
half
know.
hour, 45
So-
minutes before this.
So
time.
thank you to everyone. Oh God,
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
no,
Calm down.
Joseph, no. Oh God.
But anyway, Joe, before we do wrap it up,
It's the show.
What even is this now?
Hey,
What
like
even
this
is
one?
this now?
but anyway,
like it?
Joe, before you do wrap it up, or before we
You
wrap
wrap
it
it
up,
up.
seriously, how's Emily?
Well, I think she's sleeping.
I just wanted to say if my dad walked in and saw the
Yeah,
screen
just-
right now, there would be so many questions.
What would your dad say?
You've got two guys holding up Teddy Bear and Yoda. You've got a half-naked guy. Like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, honestly, this like I gotta make sure
It's all
the
gone to
door's
shit,
locked.
lads. It's all gone to shit.
I'll speak for yourself, Dave. I mean, I think there's a clientele for this product.
Yeah, like us four, and that's it.
No, I don't.
It's actually
think you guys
5 of
are-
us, you jackass.
No, I meant like the four other people. Obviously, Joe would be offering the product, and we would be the buyers. So.
Oh.
But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
I'm starving. I really need to eat. So
Thank
I
you,
can
everyone,
tell you're
for
doing your
joining
push-ups,
us.
Joe. Good job, bud.
For joining us.
And then,
Thank
so
you.
you all got Jamie. You're back this week, right? For ERL. This is a week you will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to study Nick's time trial video for a couple of days. You know,
We're at
'cause,
Canada.
Yeah, I really struggle and always have done in Sector 2.
Oh,
of
God.
Canada.
See,
No,
now
this is
Dom's
too
got
much. I'm ending the stream right now. This is too much.
What are you
TB's
doing
getting
right now?
TB's getting frightened now.
What are you doing?
No, he says it's too much.
Why do you have a picture of the state of Alaska on the side of your ribs?
Right here?
Yeah.
That's my tat. I gotta go.
You know, this is most OnlyFans nightmare. This is, you know.
It is?
Hello, Dom's gone. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight on Hookster Talks. You've been awesome as always, and thanks to everyone in the chat. I've really got to go now, so thank you, everyone.
All right,
And-
later. See you
and
guys
good
Monday.
night.
Dave, do we ask for donations?
Yes, you can ask for donations. Of course you can.
Well, no, I'm asking for you to get donations. So,
Oh,
you know, if
well,
anybody's
yeah, anybody who wants to donate to me. In fact, I have
put
just
a
been.
little bit of extra.
In fact, I have just
Donation.
been authorised for a donation heart, which if you look at my stream in the right hand corner, you'll see it says thanks, and you can donate directly through there. So feel free to not do it. But yeah, I just got that through the other week. I don't know what it entails. Press on it and see what happens. But anyway, thanks everyone. Awesome as always. Thanks to Dom and to
Good
Jamie
chat from it.
and to Joe,
Later.
who now looks like Marky Mark. Oh God. Yeah,
Good vibrations.
I think that's a good
Jesus.
that's a good thing to end it on. Thanks everyone. Catch you later. Bye bye. I have no idea what that was. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching tonight. I'm sorry I couldn't read out all your messages because, as I said in the chat though, with 4 people talking at once, it's very difficult to get any messages across. I have read every single one of your messages like I always do. So thanks everyone for sending the messages in. And yeah, I'm going off for a lie down now because I think I deserve it. I just don't even know what that was. Anyway, thanks to the Moaning Yorkshireman who says gay in the chat. I agree with you there, Josh. And to Scott Barnes. And to Matthew D'Souza. And to Plynal Plessy. And to JW97. And to the Mr. Poochie Head, of course. And of course to... who else was in there? Oh, I can't remember now. There were so many. Dominic Orlando was in there. Joseph Plant was in there. Anthony Bible was in there. Or Bibil. Thank you, sir, for joining me. And that's about it. So yeah, sorry I couldn't read out all the messages, but as I say, I have read every single one of them. I was actually reading them while all the others were waffling. So yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, I'm going for a lie down now. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And I'll catch you in the next video.